Welcome to Dogs vs. All Y'all, a weekly college football podcast where we discuss not only my favorite team, the Georgia Bulldogs, but we talk all things college football, hence all y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and look us up on Instagram at SuplexDinnerClub. And go Dogs. All right, folks, we're back. We're back for another episode. We got another roundtable. This is the final month of the regular season of football. In-state rivalries, whole lot of hate. And I brought two of the biggest haters I know. Hate. This is going to be the hate panel. But seriously, I'm honored to have these two gentlemen, two of my good friends, two diehard fans of their respective teams, and I'm looking forward to talking college football. So introducing first a returning guest, and according to a lot of the commenters of Suplex Dinner Club, one of the most polarizing figures of Suplex Dinner Club. So job well done. It's the homie Dallas. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Happy to be here. Happy to be back. Hopefully I don't ruffle too many feathers this time and we keep it peaceful, have a good time.
No doubt. All right, so as always, when I bring a new guest on, I always have a question for him. So for you, Dallas, who's the best player that you've seen from your hated rival?
Well, let me clarify, it's a rival, so it's Florida State, but Florida State is not my most hated team, but they are my most hated rival.
Okay.
And because they are only really rival, because Florida doesn't play us anymore. So from Florida State, I have to go Greg Jones. Greg Jones, just the way he ran the football was special to me. I hate that he got injured. I thought he was going to have an incredible career in the league, and I think he would have if he wouldn't have got hurt. But Greg Jones, just the way he brought the pain on every carry, he was a guaranteed 6-yard lick. It just did damage to linebackers, safeties, anybody that came in contact with him. Bad dudes were afraid to tackle Greg Jones.
That's the truth.
So all respect to that guy. Great career, great player. He was my favorite.
No doubt.
Great.
I like that. The great. First time guest of Suplex Dinner Club. He's representing the Florida State Seminoles. Y'all know I got to be messy and have a Miami, Florida State panel right before their game. But we brought the homie Jada. What's going on there, brother?
What's good? What's good to you, bro?
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you having me on. What's happening, Dallas?
What's up, man?
Like I said, I don't speak to Hurricane fans before the game, but we here. Jada Jones. Yeah, man, just happy to be here. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So same question for you, Jada. Who is your favorite player from your most hated rival?
Like Dallas, but unlike Dallas, um, my Miami is not my most hated rival. It is actually Florida.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna pick a Miami player. I'm gonna actually go two ways with this. While they were at Florida, I can't stand anybody from Florida. But Percy Harvin was entertaining to watch.
Yes.
Okay. I feel
And
that. That's a good answer.
I never rooted for him, but I'm like, man, I gotta see him. But while he was in the league, my favorite player from Florida is the great Fred Taylor, because he went to Jacksonville. So
Yeah, you are a Jags fan, so that makes perfect sense. All right, my answer. Well, Georgia has 3 hated rivals, so I'll give y'all 3 answers. 1, obviously, Georgia Tech. Number 2, Auburn. Number 3, the Gators. All 3 of us are in agreement. The Gators are awful. We hate their fan base, except for the ones that like, comment, and subscribe on Suplex Dinner Club. All right, so let's start with the Gators. My favorite player from the Gators would definitely be Tim Tebow, just because he was unstoppable at certain times. His sophomore year, he was going crazy. We beat them, but he still got his against Georgia. So Auburn is definitely got to be Cam Newton. Watching him, he's from the house. He's from Atlanta. You can't deny the kind of run he had. He took a team full of plumbers to the national championship.
yes, sir.
Greatest college football quarterback, in my opinion. And for Georgia Tech, it's got to be Joe Hamilton. Joe Hamilton was like the boogeyman to me as a little kid because I knew when we played him, he would get his and always embarrass us. He was like 5'9", 5'8", and just doing whatever he wanted to, and had Jim Dunn having the shakes. So it's definitely got to be Joe Hamilton for me. Next, one of our most favorite topics on this podcast is pointing and laughing at Dabo Swinney in Clemson. There's no question about it. Anytime that we have an opportunity to laugh at them losing, and more importantly, laugh at his reactions to losing, we're going to take advantage of that. So here's to you, Dabo. It's been a rough season for Clemson. They opened up the season losing and quitting, like I've said before, against Duke. They lost to Florida State. There was another team that they lost to, right? It was 3 losses.
4.
4?
They lost.
They're on
They 4. Miami,
Oh.
NC State, Florida State, and Duke.
Ooh. Okay, so now we're talking. So it's been 4 losses for Clemson. This is uncharted territory.
And North Carolina on deck.
So it's uncharted territory for Dabo at this point of what has been a program that's largely dominated the ACC for the better part of a decade. So he was on his coaching show. A lot of college coaches have their their little recap shows and, you know, that little table side chat going into games. Now, for some odd reason, Clemson allows their fans to call in and speak to the coach.
Incredibly foolish. Incredibly
Other
foolish.
programs don't do this.
No.
Other
Serious
more intelligent
programs do not. No.
Correct. Because what eventually happened was a passionate fan by the name of Tyler. I want to say his name. I mean, it's Tyler from Spartansville or something to that extent. He goes in on Dabo, questioning him, and most importantly, bringing up the fact that Dabo is currently making $11.5 million a year. Basically saying, yo, you're making all this money. What's going on? Why do we suck? Dabo responds. He cuts one of the best promos I've ever seen a college coach cut, being a wrestling fan.
Next to Mike Gundy.
Man, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I have a clip. It was like a 5-minute rant, basically telling this dude, hey, piss off. Y'all are spoiled fans, which is true. And it is what it is, which is a little suspect. We're going to definitely talk about it. But I cut a little clip of his rant, so let's check it out.
I've listened to enough of you, Tyler. Listen, you can have all your opinions that you want. All right, I don't know how old you are. Don't really care. All right, but let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem. To be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that do that. All you do is the appreciation. The expectation is greater than the appreciation. And that's the problem. Listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want, and you can apply for the job, and good luck to you. All right? I used to tell people all the time, they'd say, what's the difference in Clemson? Let me tell you. At some places, there's an expectation, but at Clemson, there's an appreciation. And what's happened at Clemson is we've won so much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything. People like you, I'm sure you've never made any bad decisions. I'm sure you've lived a perfect life. I'm sure you've led a bunch of people. I'm sure you do your job in front. So to answer your question, I started as the lowest paid coach in this freaking business. All right? And I'm where I am because I've worked my ass off every single day. And I ain't going to let some smart-ass kid get on this phone and create this stuff. So if you got a problem with that, I don't care. All right? I work for the board of trustees, the president, and the AD. And if they're tired of me leading this program, all they got to do is let me know. I'll go somewhere else.
There you have it. That was Dabo's response to Tyler. I should have put some gunshots in the background. Or maybe Ether's beat playing. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, Dabo basically got his shit off. So Jada, I'm gonna go to you first, man.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on Dabo's response?
All right, so I can't stand Dabo. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there, and not as a
Amen.
man. I'm just obviously they are approaching. There's Florida, there's Miami, Clemson is starting to reach that for me. Um, so I don't like Jimbo Fisher. Dabo is right next to him. So
Mm,
anytime that Dabo loses, it does something to my heart. But like I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, bro, he mentioned stuff that ain't like he doesn't know. You telling the dude to apply for the job, knowing he not gonna get it.
right.
Like the appreciation over expectation, it really reminded me of like all of us are married, right?
Yep.
Like that's like your wife brings something to you and you like, but what I did 5 years ago, you weren't complaining about it then, so why are you complaining about it? Like she just talk about you ain't took out the trash the last 2 days, right? Like why are you sitting here getting so a lot of people say he was cooking is because he's feeling the heat. He's in the pot. It's getting to him. And the
Mm,
fact that I'm gonna bring up my team that lost to Florida State hurt him more than the loss to Duke because he realized that run is about to be over.
mm.
So
Feel that.
he's feeling it, man. But last thing I'll say, the guy mentioned that he was a man of faith, that Dapper was a man of faith, and at the end of the rant, he says, "I'm a man of faith." But you talking prideful, you talking about where you came from and where you are now. You're cursing the dude out, like bro,
Which
the
one is
dude
it?
brought up, yeah, like, and don't get me wrong, we all make
Yeah,
mistakes, but he's calling you out, and you pretty much just solidified and cemented what he's talking about. Where you
I
wins
feel
at,
that.
Dabo.
I feel that. Dallas, man, what are your thoughts? I know you got some good ones.
See, I'm not a Dabo fan at all, but I do respect what he's done at Clemson. Clemson
Definitely.
was nothing. I mean, they were Wake Forest. They were nothing. He gets there out of nowhere and he turns this thing. He builds a powerhouse. And he's right. They did win 11 games last year. And what he said to Tyler to me is spot on. Like Tyler has no idea what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, if it were for Dabo Swinney, you'd be happy about making a bowl every year, right? And Dabo's hearing all this, he's just sick of it. At first, I thought, hey, that's not helping, man. I get it, I feel you, but that's not helping. But one thing it did do, all the media, everybody's talking about this rant and this exchange. Nobody's talking about X's and O's. Nobody's talking about Klubnik not throwing the ball down the field. Nobody's talking about big plays getting made, the team breaking down. Well, I think they've had 2 or 3 overtime losses in recent weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe he helped the team a little bit by getting them talking about this drama and getting the focus off some of the players that X's and O's.
That makes sense. So you're saying that he put himself out there as more of a shield, so the rest of the team doesn't really have to
Well,
feel that kind of.
not just the team, I mean him too, because there was a lot of talk going on about who's really calling this offense. Is it Garrett Riley or is it Dabo Swinney? Because some of
This
his
is true.
comments he made about it being the Clemson offense. And then Garrett was explosive at TCU, and Clemson is anything but explosive right now. So there's been a lot of questions on what's really going on, who's calling the plays. But now we're just talking about some idiot in Spartanburg that called into a radio show.
That's a fact. That's a fact. My question to both of you guys, both of your teams are in the ACC. And like I said before, Dabo and Clemson largely dominated the ACC the past decade plus. And to that, we definitely have to tip our hat and show respect, you know. But the big question, I'll go to you, Dallas, first, is Clemson's reign of terror. I'm going to call it a reign of terror.
It has been.
As, is their reign of terror over?
No. I do not think so. I think they
Okay.
got a down year. I do think he's going to adjust. You'll see some portal guys, I think, and some other adjustments. Um, I think part of their problem is their system and their quarterback sometimes don't seem to be a match.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got dudes, man. They've got really good players. They just don't have that explosive playmaker element and a quarterback that they trust to push the ball downfield or playmakers to make plays downfield consistently.
Yeah.
So I think they'll adjust. They've got a ton of resources, man. They got a ton of money and an administration that has a desire to be successful at football. So they'll do what it takes. And if the day comes they think that is pull Dabo out and put somebody else in, they will. But and the ACC, I mean, Florida State's having a phenomenal year. A lot of old players on that team that are going to be moving on. Players are going to get drafted. What's coming behind them, I don't know. Norvell's going to have to hit the portal hard again. He's shown he can and he can be
Yep.
successful there, but he's going to have to do it and he's going to have to get what he needs. But I do think Clemson's going to be in that market this year with plenty of resources to do so. So it could get interesting.
Okay.
And I think they'll bounce back. I do. I really do. I think that they're going to be just fine.
I feel that. Jada, your thoughts?
The reign of terror, the dominance, the having it in the stranglehold is done.
It's
And
over with.
I'm gonna tell you why. And obviously I'm gonna bring up my team. What Norvell has done, transfer portal, the king of the transfer portal. Until Dion has got there, and we know what Dion is done and is gonna do. Um, but he's allowed. I'm a basketball fan. He's done what the U.S. did in 2000 when they went to the Olympics in '92 with the Dream Team, in '96 with Shaq and him, and they felt like, oh, we got it, and the
Mm-hmm.
world caught up. And what they didn't do is Clemson, by not hitting the transfer portal, by not making sure that they had the right people behind Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, who I'm appreciative of because he's with my Jaguars.
Right.
Um, that though he hasn't had that star to continue to say, hey, even if we don't have it in certain positions, we still got this guy who will make big plays, who will do that. And he's allowed Florida State, Norvell, to catch up with him. And so now I'm not saying that they won't win the ACC again. I'm not sitting here saying that they won't be in a championship picture. But now you got to deal with Florida State. We all waiting for Miami to be back to Miami, right? The ACC is no longer just a pushover. Even though we kind of disappointed with UNC and all that. So now we got to see what Louisville is doing. Can those teams sustain it? I don't know, but I do know Florida State. If I'm taking off my homer hat, Florida State is back in regards to being in that picture. And so that dominance is done. And
Yeah.
if you do get past that, now are you ready for the Georgias? Are you ready for, even though they're having a quote unquote down year, they're still Bama, right? Are you ready for these other teams? I don't see that happening. And so I think it's done. I think he's hard headed and prideful. So I'm not sure he's gonna hit that transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when he talked about buying stock into Clemson, well, you got to make sure that you putting something out there that people to buy. And so
Mm.
I just don't know if that pride and that ego, the way that he answered Tyler showed there's a lot of pride and ego there. And we'll see, but it's done.
I feel that. I feel that. So let's go ahead and go into our next segment because Dabo's gonna kick this off. Let's call this segment "Yes Sir" or "Nah." And basically, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. You either tell me yes sir or nah, and of course, pontificating, give me some good content. Let's start with the first question. I'm gonna go with you, Jada. First, will we see Dabo in the transfer portal next season?
By default. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
But I don't think it will be heavy. I think it will be okay. He'll get some throwaway people. It won't be as we've seen the Mike Norvell. We see these people who actually are trying to. Hey, we gonna go out there first day. We calling people. We contacting that guy. We're doing our research. We're finding the Jared Verses of the world. Where hey, we looking at South Carolina with Jaheim Bell. Obviously, I'm talking about Florida State, but like we're doing our research and we're actually making the effort to say, hey, even if we got this 4-star, 5-star who might be ready in a year or two, I got this guy who was at so and so school. I can get in now. I think he'll pull probably somebody we're not thinking about that's lower tier, but he won't be active in it because he's prideful.
Okay, I feel that. Dallas.
I think he'll be active and selective. And because here's the thing, I don't think he needs a ton. They got dudes, man.
Yeah, for sure.
They look at Tez Walker. How many games has he played for North Carolina this year? Just a handful, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he would be within a few yards of their leading receiver if he was on their team. So I think, they'll make a couple moves. Again, I agree that they won't take a 25 new roster players, but I think they'll make some critical key moves to try to get some explosiveness back on that roster.
I feel that. I'm gonna say nah because we've all said it. Dabo's very arrogant and prideful, and he's sticking to his way. All right, next question. Next question. I'm gonna start with you, Dallas. Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs. Before the season kicked off, we had our predictions. Dallas, I want to say you predicted two, two wins
Maybe
for
two, yeah.
two. Dave, our other panelist, I want to say he said 7 or 8. I said 5. And right now they're standing at 4 and 5. It's kind of looking like, unless they pull off this upset against Arizona, they may not win another game this season. So, but there are still games to be played. So, my yes sir or nah question for you, Dallas: will Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs go bowling this season?
I am going to say yes, but with 5 wins. I
Mm,
think I think there have been teams over the last few years get in with 5 wins, and I think that they will have no more than 5 wins. 5 wins is the best case scenario for them, probably moving forward. But it's too good a TV to not have them in a bowl game, and I think that they will end up in one.
the bowl sponsors are just like praying they get
Yes,
bowl eligible
yes,
because
yes,
everyone's going to be watching it. It's no matter what.
absolutely.
All the highest rating shows or games have been Colorado and Coach Prime. So let's go to Jada. Yes, sir, or nah, man.
I'm gonna say nah. It hurts me to say, because I predicted 6, 7 wins. I was hopeful. Reality was like, they'll get 5. I don't know if they're gonna get 5. Um, and so I'm gonna say nah. I think this will be good for them. We know Coach Prime. He's a man of his word. He's gonna get it. Like you said, you better get me now. Um, but it's good for his players to say, hey, you can't just roll in here and say, hey, I'm with Coach Prime. I got this. Like, nah,
Mm,
like you got to put in the work. They're small on the defensive and offensive lines. Um, we're seeing we see Shador can't even can't even have a second back there. I'm actually kind of worried about him health wise because he's getting
definitely.
hit a lot. But to answer the question, nah, like if they don't beat Arizona, I don't think they're gonna beat Washington State, and we know they ain't beating Utah. So
Yeah, I think their best shot at going bowling was last weekend with Oregon State. That was a team in the right position to, if you would have brought together a full effort, that's the team you should have stolen a game from. It is what it is. They gave a fight in the fourth quarter, man. So I don't know. So USC just made the decision that a lot of us were anticipating and letting go Alex Grinch after another display. It's been all year. Their defense has been
Multiple
god
years,
awful.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
all the way back to Oklahoma.
This is a fact. There's been, but this season in particular, USC came in ready to rock and roll. They were claiming, hey, we're going to make the playoff. We have our returning Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to lead us to a national championship. He's going to lead us back to glory. And that defense said, nah,
yeah.
we y'all 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 got to score points. Y'all got to score some points. So, my question to you, Jada, is Lincoln Riley going to be Caleb Williams' head coach next season?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Um, if you asked me that at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, he's gonna go to NFL. I think that loss hurt. We saw him boohooing. We saw him, a lot of people making this and that about, the crying and this and that. I think he's like he's hurt because he's like we had an opportunity. Like that was a culmination of 3 weeks. And like what else can I do? So I think that's gonna fuel him to say I need to come back and show that this is not who we are as a team. Caleb don't need to prove anything, but I think
Mm,
he's gonna want to show that hey, I can get one. We're better than this, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, sir.
okay. Dallas.
No, nah.
Okay.
I think Caleb goes. I think he'll be the number one overall pick, and I don't think he turned down being the number one overall pick. Um, and risking the injury, I don't know what that offensive line is going to look like next year. I don't think they're going to fix that defense in 1 year. It's really, really bad. I think he goes pro. And if there's any thoughts on Lincoln going to the NFL to coach him, I think Kingsbury ruined that whole game for everybody.
This is a good
Uh,
point.
so I don't think anybody's going to repeat that mistake.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay. Next question. Starting with you, Dallas. Well, the Heisman Trophy. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and they asked me, "Hey, do you think Jalen Milroe is a legit Heisman candidate?" And I said, in this day and age, absolutely, because the Heisman Trophy has basically become who's the best quarterback on a high-ranking potential title winner. So if you're the quarterback of a team that's undefeated right now, I would say, hey, you got a shot at going to New York and winning the Heisman. We saw last year Stetson Bennett found his way into New York, even though I think everyone in this panel would probably like, I don't know about Stetson
Yeah,
being in New York. But he was a quarterback for an undefeated team that won the national championship, so he made his way into New York. So my question to you, starting off with you, Dallas, will this year we see a non-quarterback in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony?
for the ceremony, yes. I think Marvin Harrison's going. Yeah,
Okay.
he's got to go. I mean, so I think Marvin. I don't think he will win it, but I think he will be in New York for the ceremony.
Question is that depending on a win against Michigan, or you're saying
No,
he's
I
there?
think I think he gets 100 yards against Michigan or a touchdown or two, and I think he's there. Now, I think J.J. McCarthy's Heisman hopes hinge on that game
Okay.
very much.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Jada, what you got?
And Dallas make a very compelling argument because I understand. I forgot all about Marvin Harrison because it is a QB award now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good point. But I'm gonna say nah. This ain't the year. You know who I would have put in that conversation had he been healthy all year and the numbers I thought he was gonna put up
My
is
guy?
yeah, Bowers.
Oh, for
Okay.
I
sure, for
I,
sure.
I
Yeah.
really thought he was gonna
I
be
thought he
it.
was going to win it
I
for a
think he
while.
was a lock. I thought he
Yeah,
was a
Yeah,
lock to go to New York.
'cause he had the
yeah.
highlight reel plays and everything. It was all set up for it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna say nah. If you look at the montages and you look at they're just talking about, they not even considering anybody else. Shoot, a long shot, you got Jordan Travis, who I don't feel like should be in that conversation, but he would be there before Marvin Harrison, in my opinion. So
Okay.
that just based on it being a QB award. Now, Marvin Harrison has played exceptional, but he hasn't had the Larry Fitzgerald type season.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm gonna I'm gonna say yes, sir, because I do think Marvin's gonna be invited. Just
Okay.
because he's, I mean, they have to take advantage of this star receiver who's been doing his thing, plenty of highlight catches, plenty of great performances and wins. Like you gotta put the publicity behind him because it's not going to be Kyle McCord to
No,
represent Ohio State in that. So it's got to be Marvin. So I'm going to say
Exactly.
it's definitely him. I'm saying it.
I'm,
Exactly.
I'm saying
I'm,
Marvin's definitely there.
if they win that game, I think that I might change my tune. But if they lose, I don't think he has a chance.
Okay. Okay. I like that. So that's a good segue because we got our game day picks. If you haven't already, look us up on socials at Suplex Dinner Club. That's the home of 2 podcast projects that I work on. Mondays, Fridays, we talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. We don't just talk about Georgia football, we talk about all things college football, hence All Y'all. And on Wednesdays, you know the vibes, Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met through my years in the hospitality industry. Let me know down below, what team are you representing? The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I want to know more about you guys. First game, we got to talk about y'all's matchup, man. Got to talk about it. Miami, a talented Miami team that's trying to get it together. This past weekend was a little shaky for me watching them, but they're going to travel to Tallahassee and play the undefeated Florida State Seminoles. Now, I know with rivalries like that, you got to throw the records out the door and all of that stuff, but we got to acknowledge Florida State is undefeated. So let's go to you, Dallas, first. What's Miami's pathway to beating Florida State?
It's not Tyler Van Dyke.
Okay.
That is certain. I think that he'll start this game, but if he looks shaky on the first drive, you won't see him again in a Miami uniform. When he is on, gives us our best chance to win. When he is on, we would have a great chance to win that game. The defense is playing well. The offensive line has been unbelievable. Tyler has all day to throw this ball. But there's something wrong. I don't know if it's injury. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if he can't read zone coverage. I have no idea. But if he comes out shaky, they're going to go to the backups. We've got two. One of them's a true freshman, Emory Williams. I don't think he's ready for Tallahassee, Doak Campbell Stadium. I'm thankful it's not a night game. But the kid's really accurate. He's really poised. He doesn't have a big arm, but that we don't really need that right now. And then we've got what we call baby Cam Newton. So we've got Ja'Cory Brown, who's a big guy. He can run really well. He's got a humongous arm, just not real accurate. So he requested to redshirt this year so that he can work on his accuracy and become a more complete quarterback. But we've only got 4 games left, including a potential bowl. So he hasn't played all year, so we could play him the rest of the way out and still redshirt both of those guys. So I think that's our pathway, that if Tyler's not on, that they make a quick decision and use both of those guys throughout the game, and just manage it and keep the score low as possible.
I feel that. And I do like you all's defense. I like the youth on your team. Like that Ruben Bain kid he's
Unbelievable.
monster.
Unbelievable.
Kirby, you need to be making a phone call. We need some help on that edge.
That boy's all Miami, man. All Miami.
Yeah, that's what I've
Legacy
seen.
kid.
True that. So Dallas, who's your pick, man?
I have to go with Miami on this game. This is it for them. This is Super Bowl basically for them. They could ruin Florida State's perfect season. It would change the narrative around the program. He would take it on the trail and wreak havoc with that. So I think I'm going to give it to them. I think they'll do what they need to do at the quarterback position. Our offensive line is fantastic. Jared Verse is a great player. Florida State's got a really good defensive line, but our offensive line can handle it. This will be the best offensive line Florida State plays all year. We've got some guys that can make noise on the outside, deep at running back. My biggest concern outside of quarterback, honestly, is there is no one on this roster that can cover Keon Coleman. So I fully expect him to get a ton of yards. But if they can shut down everybody else on the other side of the field, and I think that's doable, I think we'll be all right.
Okay. Jada, what's your pick, man?
You mentioned the fact that we're not playing a night game. If this was a night game, I would have no doubt. There is a little bit of concern that I have. And it hinges on 3 things. The injuries. I wonder if Norvell was holding Keon out because, hey, we should take care of Pitt. Johnny Wilson is dealing with some stuff. He's been in and out. But Keon Coleman, that was a little head scratcher for me. If the 2 of them are in, I'm 90% sure we win. But it is a rivalry game. You never know what could happen, and the fact that it's not at night in the dope, it's like, dang, we could have had that advantage. The running game. I don't like how Trey Benson is running. Now, people see the highlights, but I watched the entire game. I don't like how he tiptoes through the hole. Last year he was hitting it. Toa Feely has now become our power back for some reason.
I agree.
And I'm like, why aren't we using him more? It seemed like last year we used him more in the in yeah. I'm about to go real homer with that, but I don't
Well,
like the
it's
play.
like they switch roles in the offense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't get it. But if we run the ball and we make a concerted effort on first down to run it, get you 3-4 yards. Next thing you know, it'll be a 25-yard pop by Benz. Because even though he tip throws, when he gets through that first line and he breaks that tackle, you ain't catching him. But the main thing is Jordan Travis. He hasn't looked like the Heisman, but he's had great moments. I need him to be good all game and great in spots.
And stay
Not
healthy.
well, yeah. And I think some of that comes to play calling. He's holding the ball a little bit too much. He's looking for the big play. Just take what's there. Take what's there. I think if we can methodically go down and score on the first two possessions and make it look like, okay, this is what we do, I'm not worried about it. That's the pathway. Obviously, I'm picking us. I'm picking us. 45-3 last year. Even though I couldn't watch it live because I was somewhere else, it was so joyful to watch. I know Miami's gonna come in and try to get some get back, but we got our eyes on bigger things. Last week was the wake up call. Norvell's gonna use that, and we win. I'm gonna give you a score:
Okay.
31-20.
Okay. Okay. I got Florida State winning in a very close game. I think Miami is a lot better than what we saw last weekend, and it's just one of those rivalry games where you can
You never
have
know.
you never know, you never know.
Yeah.
So I got Florida State winning, continue being undefeated in a very close game.
Yeah, I will say I'm more concerned with this game than Florida.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I don't blame you.
yeah, that's easy work. That's definitely easy work.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of hopefully easy work, Georgia is headed to Knoxville, Tennessee, play at Neyland Stadium and the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Georgia is looking like one of the better teams in the nation. They just haven't really looked like the monster that a lot of people have expected. I'm still happy with what I'm seeing of that team. I'm still happy with what I see of my quarterback. He is yet to fold for me yet. So those of us who thought Carson Beck wasn't it, he's proven us wrong. So I was a fan, so I'm just speaking to other Georgia fans. But they travel to Knoxville with hopes of continuing to be undefeated, go to the SEC championship, and hopefully making the playoffs. But they got to beat Tennessee first. They got to beat a high-powered Tennessee offense with star quarterback Joe Milton. We don't know what kind of quarterback we're going to get in that game. Georgia's defense have had issues with running quarterbacks. And of course, playing in Neyland is always different. Night game, possibly. It's probably going to be a 3:30 game, but who knows? The crowd's going to be rocking. We want to see who's going to leave that game the victor. So let's start with you, Dallas. Who are you picking, Georgia or Tennessee?
I got Georgia big in this game. Big.
Big. Okay.
I think Kirby's got Heupel all figured out, man. I don't, that's not going to be a problem. Milton certainly doesn't scare me at all. Um, I think Georgia's hitting a groove right now. They lost Bowers, but Delp is starting to pop up and look kind of like him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll lean on him. I think the defense will stand up when they need to stand up. I think Joe Milton turns that ball over a couple times. I got Georgia big.
Okay. Okay. Jada, what you got, bro?
I got Georgia. I don't even think it's a question. I don't know if I have y'all big. When I say big, I'm thinking 20 plus. But I got a convincing win. If I had to give a narrative, I would say watch what happens this weekend going into that. But either way, win or loss, which I think y'all will win this week. I think y'all will be ready for that because that will be the game that ensures y'all get undefeated. Because we ain't worry about what's after that. But and then if you come off that going into that game, you come off a loss, and obviously there's more motivation there. So, but yeah, y'all will do what y'all do.
Yeah, I got Georgia winning. Kirby Kirby always gets that team extra salty against rivals. Teams that when he was at Georgia used to beat up on him, he just he finds some kind of way of just getting his entire team extra salty. So I think an extra salty, extra motivated Georgia team goes into Neyland and we do win. And I'm gonna say that's a 2 touchdown game.
for sure.
Yeah. And then also one thing that Kirby has said recently, he says he doesn't worry about the spread. He's not worried. He doesn't care about covering as long as his team gets the dub. So I don't know what Vegas is going to have that game listed, but I'm going to think that Petty Kirby is going to make sure he doesn't.
He's
He
covering that
does.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think he's going to cover it? Yeah.
He's uncovered. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I like it. And all of the other contributors picked Georgia, unfortunately. So. All right, next game, we got another in-state rivalry. We got my guy, Bo Nix, and those Oregon Ducks. People laughed at me when I said, hey, Bo is a Heisman candidate. People laughed at me. I got it
You
on
laughed
tape.
because you
I
said
got
it
it
was
on
terrible
I got
for
it on
years.
tape. I got it on tape. I got it on tape. I told y'all.
You've
I
been
told
You
talking
y'all.
laughed at
about
the
him for
switch
two
up.
years too.
Hey man, Bo's been doing his thing. But anyway, he's going to play Oregon State, a talented Oregon State team that has a transfer quarterback in DJ Ungalele, who's been doing his thing there. Clemson said he was broken, he was useless. He's been throwing touchdowns and leading a winning team at Oregon State. So my question to you, let's start off with you, Jada. Can DJ and Oregon State pull off the upset against Oregon?
Um, I like DJ. I like, um, I guess you could say a comeback story, kind of the narrative that was surrounding him going to Oregon State,
For sure.
at Clemson, this and that. I think not enough that I've seen has been made about kind of his resurgence. Um, but nah, he not ready for Oregon. Oregon is different. That's the team that I'm concerned about. That might try to usurp us in the polls. Um, they look like the best team in the country right now, offensively.
Yeah, they score points,
So
man. They've always done that. But
yeah,
yeah, they're definitely looking good and motivated. Hopefully they run it back with Washington. And hopefully
yeah,
Dan Lanning knows how to take his points like a goddamn intelligent coach, but that's a whole nother podcast. He cost me money. Dallas,
yeah.
who wins, Oregon or Oregon State?
This game is in Alton Stadium at 8:30 at night. This is.
Is it? I thought it was in Corvallis.
Oh, I thought it was in Alton.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
it's in Corvallis.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it? All right,
yeah.
Oregon State's got a chance.
You're
I
right.
think they got a chance, but I don't think they win. But I do think I like that team. It's a good team. I like how they
Yeah.
play. Tough team, really good running game. It makes it a lot easier on DJ with that running game. Defense is salty, but at the end of the day, I think Oregon second half takes over.
Oh no, it is actually in Oregon.
Is it in Austin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
at night in Austin, so that I don't
It
think
may
it's
get
close.
spooky. Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be
it may
yeah.
get spooky. This may be Bo's Heisman game where
Yeah,
he just
it very well could be.
yeah. Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. We got Oregon winning and hopefully winning big because Oregon's one of my playoff teams. Dallas, all my
Mm.
playoff teams still in the
Man,
mix.
mine are in shambles, man.
Yeah. True.
Shambles.
It is what it is. It is what
Yeah.
it is. All right, next game. Next game is going to be the University of Georgia traveling to Atlanta, Georgia to play our hated rival, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. I personally love this game because I live very close to Georgia Tech and we don't have to worry about parking and going to the game. So I can get kind of drunk and go there and then walk and be fine. But anyway, I love it, and it's also always a noon game, so that means I can get other things done later. My question, Jada, I'm gonna start with you, man. You both of you have seen Georgia Tech in action. I've seen it as well. Um, does Georgia Tech have a chance against Georgia?
Absolutely not. No chance.
Okay.
It might look like that in the first 15 minutes, but after that, there is no chance. Y'all will be fighting and playing for something bigger, and um, you might even be trying to fight for that number one seed in the playoff. Um, so I think that's motivation. You talk about Curry Smart using things for motivation. He won't let that game go under the radar. Try to get his players hyped and let's go out here and make a statement, not only to them, but let's make a statement that you got to come see us. Everything goes through us. We are the back-to-back champs. So, yeah.
Okay. Dallas, what you got?
On paper, it looks like a game that could be tricky because you guys will be thinking about SEC championship game,
It's a
and
look
Georgia
ahead.
Tech's been terrible for a long time. Georgia Tech has a quarterback that can play football,
He can run around.
um, and they have they fired their defensive coordinator, and they've been demoted the defensive coordinator, been a totally different team ever since. But Kirby Smart is way too good at moving the needle on his players' emotions. He'll know how critical this is. He'll know the danger of sleepwalking through a noon game in Atlanta, and he'll have them fired up like it's the national championship game, and they will beat the hell out of Georgia Tech.
I'm I'm looking forward to this game. Haynes King of Georgia Tech. He's talented. He can run around. He can make a play. He's been doing it all season. And I like what that program is moving toward. However, I do think it's going to be an ugly game. I think,
Yeah, it's gonna be
I
bad.
think, I think Georgia has they have murder on their brain at that point. They're like it's way too late in the season to take a loss. It's way too late in the season to make a game look like we're not a dominant team. So I agree with you guys. I think Georgia shows up, shows out. I think Brock Bowers is back that game, hopefully.
Okay. I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should be back that game, hopefully. Knock on wood. And I have Georgia winning and covering. Big.
Dogs
Last
by.
game. Man.
Because it sounded like your
I
post where you talk the
Yeah,
team
yeah.
up and you like,
Yeah, yeah. I always do that. I've learned that from pro wrestling. You always want to make your opponent look like he's a solid opponent. I'm not wasting my time. That way, when I do beat you and beat the hell out of you, everyone's like, "Man, if he's that good, then what are they doing?" So, uh, my score prediction is going to be that Friday episode. So I can't drop that just yet. But I got dogs covering, dogs big. Last game, it's a lot of sign stealing allegations, cheeseburgers being purchased, a whole bunch of outside drama dealing with the Michigan Wolverines. But all season, we can't deny them. They've not only beat teams, they've dominated teams, they've embarrassed their opponents. Ohio State, on the other end, had questions at quarterback. They're a very talented team, but a lot of questions have been at that quarterback position mainly. Also, the defense, they had questions, but their defense looks to be one of the best in the nation so far. And Kyle McCord hasn't lost them a game. We got classic rivals. We got plenty of drama and storylines. Primetime television type event. So, Dallas, who do you have? Ohio State or Michigan?
I have Michigan in this game for two reasons.
Okay.
It's in the big house, and I think it's that home field advantage matters in this game a lot. The other thing you mentioned, it's an emotional game. There's a lot of extracurricular talk going on. Michigan's cheating. Ohio State's may have snitched. Um, I think Harbaugh is able to not give a shit about any of that and focus on the football game. I don't think Ryan Day can do it. I think
Hmm.
Ryan Day gets in his feelings. He's an emotional guy. I don't think he is as good a coach as Harbaugh anyway. And I think he's going to have his mind on a million things, and Harbaugh is going to have his mind on that, executing that game plan and coaching that football game to a victory.
I feel that. Does he still have smoke with Lou Holtz?
Right. Like that's Ryan Day in a
That
nutshell.
sums that
So
sums up
yeah,
Ryan Day.
yeah, yeah.
Jada, what you got, man? Ohio State or Michigan?
Ohio State is one of those teams I don't root for ever. It's like five
Yeah,
teams. I don't know, it's something about them. But Ryan Day, I think what Dallas said about Ryan Day, he seems just not built for it when it comes to those big games, those big moments,
Mm-hmm.
especially against Michigan. I think they got his card. Harbaugh specifically has his card. It being in the big house plays a big factor, and the score being, I think, more than two touchdowns victory for the Wolverines. Um, I would, if I go out on a limb, this might be Harbaugh's last Ohio State Michigan game. Um,
I think so too.
for
and
sure.
so I think he's gonna want to go out with a foot on their neck, and that's what it is. So um, yeah, and McCord's not ready for that.
Mm,
Um, so that if they had a better QB, I might give Ohio State a chance. But yeah, McCord's not ready for that. Unless Marvin Harrison goes off and submits his Heisman spot, but
Very possible. Very
prime
possible. I
opportunity.
will
Prime
say that if
opportunity.
if Harbaugh is suspended for this game, it could be interesting.
That would be crazy, man. You think they'll do that?
It's a possibility. It is a possibility. So
they can't do it
it's
for this game.
well, they might.
Dang.
Wow.
Well, the deciding factor for me, just like at the beginning of the season when I said Michigan was another one of my playoff teams, Ohio State hasn't shown me anything to say that they're tough enough to face a Michigan. You gotta be a tough team to face that kind of running game, that offensive line, and definitely that defense. They've been bullying Ohio State past couple seasons, and I think that continues this year. So I got Michigan winning for sure. All right, gentlemen. Well, we have reached the end of the podcast. I want to thank you all again for joining us. I really appreciate y'all. Uh, Dallas, you got any last words, last thoughts? Any
Hey
fan
man,
bases you want to shoot at?
no, just to my Florida State brother. I hope it's a good game, an enjoyable game, and everybody comes out healthy on the other side. No injuries, no funny business. Just good old clean rivalry hate. You know what I mean?
I feel
Yeah.
that. I feel that.
I'll echo, what Dallas says. Obviously, I want to win the game, but this ain't a hated rivalry. This ain't us versus Florida. This is more so of a, hey, get that respect. Hey, we won up to you last year. I know Miami's gonna come in. They're gonna try to avenge that loss. Obviously, I'm hoping we win. Um, yeah, man. I appreciate the time and opportunity to be on here. And I hope y'all enjoy y'all weekends. And
Definitely.
yeah, appreciate you.
Definitely. Definitely. And I think all three of us can agree the hell with Florida. They're awful. So,
Yes,
yes.
Cheers,
yes.
All
man.
right.
But I hope Billy wins just enough to keep his job.
This is a
Yeah,
fact. This is a fact. Good old Sunbelt Billy.
yeah. I love it.
All right, listeners, thank you again for checking us out. We will see you Monday. I'll update the rankings and probably talk a game or so. You know how I do. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Look us up on socials. Instagram, YouTube is growing. All right, gentlemen, thank you again. Listeners, y'all take care of each other. Enjoy the games this weekend. And as always, go Dogs.
Much love.
Trust your preparation. No, your ass is prepared for this shit for fucking 365 days. I think about the fucking in that locker room. Think about getting our opportunity. All the shit you went through this week to get ready for this game. Now is when you pay the fucking price. You go out there with energy, enthusiasm. Ain't nobody supposed to be cautious. Ain't nobody supposed to be nervous about shit. Go out here and fuck their ass up. Don't think about scoreboard. Don't think about shit. You think about knocking the shit out of them. Did you hear what Box said on Monday? When I sat in that fucking meeting, I wanted to go fucking play right then. Tore your shit up out here. 2 years ago, fuck your shit up. Goddamn pride and joy tells me you fuck these guys up. You go play the right way. You play the right way. You knock their ass off. You stay off the fucking ground. You tackle the fucking man with the ball. The shit's easy. Look at the right shit. Punish their ass on offense and kick their ass on special teams, guys. It's about who the fuck we are. I believe in you. Let's go. Hell!